And we are live. Welcome to Black Culture Matters podcast. This is the place where we come to have mature discussions about issues that Black people deal with. This is episode number 5. How y'all feeling tonight? How y'all feeling?
We're feeling good. We're feeling good.
Hey, I got big news, everybody. This is episode 5, and we just officially crossed 500 views.
What?
500 views. But
Woo!
of those 500 views and all the people watching, only about 36% of the people watching are actually liking or subscribing. So make sure if you're watching, you like, you comment, you subscribe, click the link, join the conversation. So everybody good tonight. How y'all feeling? James, you all right?
Man, another good night, man. I'm chilling. How about you?
I'm a little sluggish today, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna talk about something a little controversial tonight. At least I think. The conversation or the question that came to mind as I was looking at different social media platforms recently was, are Black women suffering from a superiority complex? So before I dig into why I came up with this question, I just want to hear y'all immediate thoughts about what comes to mind when you hear that question.
I'd have to say first that comes up when it says superiority. Obviously, you think you're better than somebody and you look down on another person. So that would be the concept of possibly dating. You know, the new trend right now is dating down, which is if a man isn't at your income level of above, he's less than you. So that's one thing that comes up to me.
What about you, Carla?
I think when I hear superiority complex, I hear like control, and just people having issues, like unresolved internal issues,
Okay.
insecurities.
Gio, what do you think?
Yeah, man. Pretty much as far as women, a lot of women are so inflated, mentally inflated. I guess because they get so much validation, from other men online.
Speak on it.
They're just like narcissistic, and they
Right.
feel as though men just have to bow down to them, you know. Um,
Right.
Look at me. I got 1,000 views on the photo or 1,000 likes on the photo. Therefore, what I say goes. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that going on right now.
So y'all seeing the same thing I'm seeing, basically, because
Yeah.
that's exactly why I came up with this question, right? I'm seeing when I look out into the world, when I listen to things on social media videos, I keep hearing these same things over and over. So I would assume, Gio, you agree that they are suffering from a superiority complex to one
Yeah.
extent or another. Some of them, not all of them.
Not all of them. If it don't apply, let it fly. Is a big issue because women, they miss out on good men. You know what I'm saying? Because of that attitude, that mindset.
Yeah.
It's something that has to effectively be dealt with. It's causing a lot of problems. You know what I mean? You know, Nowadays it's hard for a good guy, maybe coming out of college, out the military. He's looking to build something with a female, and it's such a shame that the first thing this female is looking at is, what type of shoes he got on, what type of car he's driving, how much money he makes, and later down the line, she gonna end up hitting a brick wall.
So let me stop you. You getting ahead of me right now, right? I'm gonna
Okay,
play an
okay,
audio clip for y'all, right? Because what I didn't want to have happen was I didn't want this to come across like this is my opinion about women. I want
yeah,
to play the video clips that I keep hearing, that I keep coming across, and let them say it for themselves, and then we could talk about how we feel about what they're saying and kind of what's going on. So I'm gonna play the audio from one right now. We don't want to get no
okay.
copyright strikes or nothing for sharing the video, but the audio. Here we go with the first one. This is a panel discussion, all Black people, men and women, talking about relationships.
What, Aaron? You said that you won't deal with the man that doesn't make more money than you. Why?
In my personal experience, I feel like a man who makes more than me sort of gives me, it kind of handcuffs me. When I say handcuff, it kind of keeps me in check because I know me. I have a reckless mouth. And I feel like even if a man controls the situation financially, there's still something that keeps me from going off and saying certain things that are rude, that are disrespectful, emasculating. Because when I
So y'all thoughts about that, right? Y'all started to touch on it, right? You might miss out on good men because of the money situation. Carl, I want to hear your thoughts, right? She said that the only way she gonna stay in check and in line and respect her man is if he make more money than her. How you feel about that? That's true. That's how you feel.
I disagree. I disagree. I think it's all subjective. I think that if a man makes more money than you, does that if a man makes more money than the woman, that doesn't mean that the woman should just like fall in line. I think
Mhm.
respect comes equally. You understand? I think that's like
So you ain't falling in line no matter how much money.
no, we don't fall in line no matter how much money a
Okay.
man makes because I mean that tells me that that person that well I'm not going to judge her, you know, that's her opinion, but like there's a level of insecurity within that person that she feels like she has to fall in line because a man has a lot of money. It don't
Mhm.
operate like that.
Right.
You understand?
It ain't about the money
But
necessarily. It's about the purpose.
money doesn't validate who I
Right.
am
Right.
or money doesn't validate another person in my opinion.
So why do we hear that so much? Why do we hear women talking about the kind of men they can and can't be with based on how much money they make?
I think that the reason why women feel that way is because again, that like they have a one there's fear. That sounds like to me like there's a some fear going on, or like they can't live a good life without someone next to them, or you know that sounds like someone that's afraid to live life. You know,
Mhm.
um, I will say that women do like to date men that have more money because they like to look good. You understand? That's not necessarily my thing. That's not necessarily something that I would do, but I just think that it sounds like women do have I mean when you hear stuff like that, it definitely sounds like they have like a superiority complex. That sounds
Is
horrible.
that offensive to you?
That what that a man makes more money?
No, that men perceive some black women as having a superiority complex.
It's really not offensive to me. It's not offensive to me because I think that you know I've been condescending towards men before. And this is just me being, but that's because I had a false sense of importance. You
Mm.
understand? And I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of women don't they may know they may know partially that they have issues, but they don't know entirely that they have issues because they think so highly of themselves. They just think that they're better. You understand what I'm saying? And this is just me speaking from my perspective. Like it's not offensive to me because yes, we can come off as if we have like we're better than men. And so
James, how you feel about that? Have you experienced that a lot in your dating experience?
I mean, listening to what she said is it is very interesting when it's the focus is on money. You gotta think. You listen to what she says. She's basically saying you can buy her qualities. You know, for her to act as if you want a woman to act based on your income, and that's what kind of stuck out to me. I should say, hearing her say that. Well, you make a certain amount of money, and I'm gonna act a certain way. Her openly admitting that she has a unhealthy characteristic, and she's highlighting it, saying, "I will only have self-control, self-restraint, and be respectful to others if the price is right."
yeah.
And that's kind of ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. Gio, what you think, man?
Honestly, I like to say things how they are. Um, I think that modern women today are like out of their mind. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Society has, did some numbers on their mind, as far as like music videos, TV, like Cardi B, a lot of women who grew up, who are now grown, they grew up in a household where there was a father figure,
Mhm.
to so that they could see, a man providing for his family. it was always the grandma or the aunt talking shit. Or apologize,
Right.
talking crap like, oh, don't depend on no man if he don't have this, if he don't have that. Don't waste your time with him. So all this stuff about women, going for a man because of his money is bullcrap. Because let's say for instance, you chasing a man with money, but this dude, he got like, how we do, he got like
Like 50
10, 20
women.
different girls. He got like
The
10.
more money you got,
So
the more likely you are to have multiple
yeah,
women.
so you get with that guy, you might be like number 10 on the line. So I feel as though women need to be re-educated, because not all women, I know a lot of women are gonna take this personal, but this how it goes. The
Now,
man is the
I think they
direct
do
and
need to be
primary.
re-educated.
Yeah, the man is the direct and primary authority. The man doesn't follow the woman. The woman has to follow the man. You know what I'm saying? But in this society, Western culture, women are they're taught to go to school, be independent, and not depend on a man.
Right.
It's not gonna work like that.
So that's why I was talking about this re-education, right? Because if you watch social media, you watch Instagram, you watch YouTube, they getting the education right now. It's teaching them.
Yeah,
Go to school, get your education, get your degree. You don't need all these points you hit, right? You don't need no man. It's no father figure example. So I was going to
no,
ask you when you were saying that, I was like, do you think that undermines relationships, right? If you grew up not seeing a man in the house, if you grew up, your mother, your grandmother, your aunts is telling you, hey, you don't need no man or don't settle for this or that. Do you think that undermines relationships? Can you
yeah,
possibly have a positive relationship with a man if you've been taught your whole life that you don't need one?
no, hell no.
Why
It
not?
depends. It depends. It depends on the female. Okay, my wife is here. She want a bum rush. May she?
For sure. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Another
Hi.
perspective. Good
So
evening.
listen.
Good
So
evening.
in reference, huh?
I said good evening.
Good
Go ahead.
evening. Hi, everybody. So in reference to what you was what my honey was saying about people not growing up in homes with fathers, right? And
Right.
seeing, well, it wasn't you, probably one of you guys were saying. I just came in, but growing up in homes with single mother homes and not seeing men in the home, and then when you grow up, you think that that's the way to be,
Mhm.
right? And for a period of time, I had that same ideology. So my honey, he grew up in a two-parent home and he's older than me. So when I met him, I was like, I don't need a man. I'm this and that. I could do it all on my own. Then when you have somebody who is teaching you uh the ways of life, so to speak, and how to live life, you come with a different aspect. Like he's teaching me, like, no, it shouldn't be this way. You have to follow what the man says. And at first I'm like, submissive? No, I can't be submissive. That makes me weak. I cannot, you're not the man of the house.
That's a
I
curse
am.
word
I
for
can pay
black
my bills.
women.
And so, but I feel like it's all in how you say. And if you have somebody that's a great teacher and to teach you, um, women can uh follow a great man as long as there's a great leader. That's what I wanted to say. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Hold on.
That's
Go
great.
ahead. Go ahead.
Also,
Jump in.
That's good.
sorry, but also black women have to understand that we as black men, we have so many adversaries out there in the world. And
Right.
oftentimes we come home with the world on our shoulder, and most women don't understand that. Babe, is everything? They think that everything's back rub, maybe sex. Sometimes it's psychological.
Mhm.
We want to make sure that we have that voice of reasoning. And I understand where a lot of men are coming from, because yo, all of my previous relationships were trash, man. Like
Oh,
domestic violence, cops being called, or because I'm trying to assert myself as a man, and this woman is like, no, I don't have to listen to you. I got this guy down the block. He looked better than you. He got more money than you. You know what I'm saying? It's just chaos.
So that's a barometer for how we're being measured as men. The
Yeah,
finances, how much money we make or don't make. Also, one of the things that I continually hear, like I mentioned, is a woman's level of education, right? Black women are amongst the highest enrolled in college today, and they are getting their degrees at a much higher rate than they ever have in history. So, more women are walking around educated. They feel like they've accomplished, and they use that along with money as a way to kind of weed out the guys that they don't want to deal with, and then gravitate towards the one that they do. But what we're finding is that those women who are educated or who might make a certain amount of money, they look down on the men that are beneath them. Has nothing to do with whether or not these men are great leaders, great fathers, husbands, or men in general. But basically, they are eliminating a significant portion of the population just based on these surface level things like money, education. James, what's your experience with that at all? What's your thoughts there? Because I got more clips with more people's more women's perspectives.
Oh,
Well, I'm a tradesman. I've been in the field, electrical field, for going on 12 years now. I obviously served with you, started in the Navy back in May of 2008. And the thing is, with the education, you do have people that may make more money than me. And then I also met quite a few who make less than me or right at my level, So the push that what I'm making today matters so much when I have a consistent track record of increasing and improving, it's kind of shocking to me because people are building a direction, and so when you see a man working hard, or you might have been dating a nice guy in college, why would you leave him who already has the same similar mindset as you on that same pathway? And it's not 100% about his direct paycheck. As you said, there's other attributes that matter more. Okay, let's say I make 250K a year in Ohio can go really, really, really far, okay? But if I'm a terrible person, I'm a habitual liar, I don't respect you at your family events, I don't mind my manners, what does it matter that I can buy you whatever car you want? If you want to go have brunch with your girls in Miami on a Sunday morning, I'll buy you the plane tickets and y'all can fly there and fly back the same day. What does that matter if you as a woman aren't being valued? So the money matters, but it's about, what does that money really matter to you? Do you just want a bunch of things? Are you not really happy with yourself? Is that why the money matters? Do you want me to buy you peace and understanding? So that's where you get a little weird, is what do they really want all the money for?
can I say something? I don't think that all women, or well, we're not talking about all women, but we're talking about like a group of women who have a superiority complex, right?
Right.
But
this is culturally the situation right now in
right,
general.
this is a general thing. I think that a lot of these women that experience these situations, they have some level of inferiority, or they experienced it in their past times. And so it translated into their adulthood, right? So I don't think that is that they're looking down on men specifically. I just think that they have issues within themselves that they don't realize they have. And
That's a great
and
point.
if we're gonna be like, if men are gonna be with women that have that are high achievers, they're looking to better themselves. I think that the first thing that a man should do is have a sit down with that person and let that person know what's important to them in a relationship, because I think everything happens in the beginning. You understand? And also there's like a level of kindness that men don't, or simple kindness that men don't know how to like put out there, like give to a woman, for her to be able to share her vulnerable part with the man. So I think it goes it's deeper than a woman just being what is it, having a superiority complex. A lot of women do have issues. A lot of us do have issues. We just don't know. We don't know how to deal with them, or we don't even realize that we have those issues. You
Right.
understand? And I think it's just deeper than that.
So the superiority complex is a couple of different things, right? We hear this all the time. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself? Everybody's a 10, everybody's a 12, everybody's off the chart. Like, we don't got mirrors. We know everybody ain't no down
Right.
there. But if you talk to most women, they feel like they the cream of the crop, right? We hear a lot of women talking about, they're entrepreneurs, they're bosses. We had a episode about this before, calling themselves queens, when they don't necessarily got the resume to justify that type of title. You got as you pointed out, low self-esteem, feelings of inferiority. All of these things are happening, and the reason why I think this conversation is important is because if the goal is for us to have better relationships as Black people, men and women, hopefully able to come together and stay together, then we got to tackle these things that we're both dealing with, men and women. Any feedback on that?
I think that everyone has issues, men
Right.
and women. I mean, men don't take accountability for things that they do wrong, and they come with a set of issues. Yeah, they don't. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. They don't.
Okay.
Like, we can
Who's
sit here.
who's better
Hold on,
at taking accountability, men
Wait,
or
wait
women?
a
hold on,
minute.
hold
I'm
on. Women,
hold
okay.
on a second. I'm gonna let you talk. I think
All right.
it's all subjective. You know, you like it's not who's better at taking accountability. It's all about the person. It's all about who decides is going to work on themselves. You
Okay.
understand? There's like me, for example, I can sit here and take accountability for many things, but it took time for me to get there because I went through a lot of things. And there are women out there that are working on themselves. You guys probably haven't met those type of women yet. You understand? Because
No.
in order for you to meet that type of woman, that type of person, you have to be working on yourself to attract that. People attract certain things into their life, right or wrong.
I don't agree with that.
All right. I mean, that's what.
You manifesting your
Well,
own reality.
this is what I'm saying. I feel like if you work on yourself, you can attract better things.
Okay,
That's how.
let me make
That's what
one
I think.
comment and then I'm gonna throw it to Gio real quick. Y'all, you ever heard of any of y'all ever heard of Iyanla Vanzant?
I
Yeah.
have.
The lady, she do work online. She worked with different couples groups. She
Yeah.
said black women is out of order. I'm gonna go ahead and say black women is out of order. Black women are the worst at taking accountability, in my experience.
Right.
And those are things that make it absolutely challenging to be able to engage with somebody on a real level and build something. Go ahead, Gio.
Okay, so this how it goes, right? A lot of women today don't want to admit that they're whores. Let's call it out. You know, a lot of women,
Wait.
they're into like prostitution, escort,
OnlyFans.
massage
Right.
therapists. They sleep around with a lot of men. So when these women sleep around with a lot of men, right, who don't plan to have a future with them, these women embody demons, you know. So
Mm.
when they meet a good guy and this guy's trying to bring her to the light, it's like he's not only arguing with her, but he's arguing with the men that she's been sexually involved with. A lot of these women be sexually involved with like up to 30 guys, you know what I'm saying? And we as men have to start taking accountability to stop validating these women. You know what I'm saying? You know, we see a lot of nice, pretty women online, but we have to start looking at women for what they really are. You know what I'm saying? Can this woman cook? What is her? Does she value family? Does she value fatherhood? You know what I'm saying? Until we get that screwed into our heads, a lot of us are gonna keep dealing with the same issue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, on a day-to-day basis, I'm gonna give you one story. Um, Shout out to her. I have, kids outside of my relationship with another woman. I was trying to build a family structure with this woman, but she just wanted a co-parent. I told her straight up, why would you open your legs for me to bring children into this world? And now you want to be here and over there, and I'm hearing things
You should
about
have
you.
been here for our second episode. We talked
Oh,
about
yeah?
why being a single parent is selfish, but go ahead.
Yeah, so she's like, well, I can't do this with you, I'm taking you to court. We go to court. I get into the courtroom, there's a black judge, a black stenographer, a black correctional officer, so I'm like, okay, we here. This is my first time in the setting. She gonna say her piece. I'm gonna say my piece. I'm thinking, okay, the judge is gonna put us into some program to where we could get some sort of counseling on how to work for our children. But my kid's mom is like, yeah, he doesn't do nothing for the kids. I just gave this woman money. Uh, yeah, my rent is this much. I gotta pay for daycare, and the anger is building up. So I'm waiting for my turn. And the judge, she tells me, how much do you make? And so that's none of your business. you know. So, you know, of course, for reference, I'm not on child support, you know, everything's shut down. But what got to me was that when the judges left, when the you know the judge staff, the court staff left, they was just talking down on me like, yeah, he has a Rolex watch on, but he can't even take care of his kids. And I'm like, why do you treat men like that? You know?
Right. So society is
You know,
also
so
playing a part in that.
yeah, because when I walked into the courtroom, the judge is looking at my shoe, she looking at the name brand on my outfit and everything. And why I'm saying to myself, why can't you just see that I'm being a good father? You know what I'm saying? And just by this woman's appearance and how she presents herself, you can see that she's an unfit mother, but they always take the women's side. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
So,
100% true.
you know, I think that we as men, we have to take ourselves more serious. Don't laugh with these women. Pay them no mind. You know, women today, they like attention. You know, they get their body done and all of that, and they always want validation. Don't give these women no validation. You know, like you gotta let the woman know that you're the boss. Like you're up here. She's not like down here, but you're still over her. You know what I'm saying? And she has to prove herself to you, not the other way around. You know what I mean? A lot of women feel that you have to treat them like a princess. You know, you have to kiss their ass. That's not how it works. We live in the real world. You know, bills got to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Everything falls on the man. The man cannot be accused for everything that goes on. The woman has to take accountability for her actions. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to say that there are women out here that do take accountability for their actions.
Very, very few.
Okay, there might be very few, but I think we're still a work in progress. But
Yeah.
it's not, we're not the only people that have issues. Men have issues too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Men have
So
issues too. And just because Ian Levan said that,
Hold on,
a
hold on,
lot
hold
of
on,
women
hold on,
have
hold on, hold on, hold
yes.
on. Uh, you know how hard it is to be a black man in America, right? You go to the bank, they look at you like you're a bank robber. You know, you might want to go on a date. You know, they don't want to serve you. You go shopping, they look at you like you're a criminal. So all it is messes with the mind. So women, I think that women, a lot of black women are selfish. Okay, they don't take the time to see our struggles. The way that we're portrayed on the media is always in a negative. Like it's like, for example, right? Not to sound racist, when you see a white man on TV, they see him as a doctor, the engineer, the captain, the leader. You know, even Asian men. When you see Asian men, they're into computers. And then when they show black men on the TV, it's like we're thugs, we're criminals, we deadbeat fathers, and all of this messes with our mind. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, we got to deal with trying to satisfy this woman over here, and what we getting in return is just mediocre. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
nobody's holding these women accountable. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll have to say that does lie in your dating and vetting process and
Yeah,
your father and or mother and or any other male role models teaching you how to properly talk to a woman. Obviously, one of the greatest examples we probably most know right now is LeBron James. He was raised in a single mother household, but her putting positive male role models in her life, I'm not sure of his complete family structure outside of his father. He was able to pick a great woman, and they've been together ever since. So you have to look at yourself as a man. If you are dating a woman and you don't properly vet her to make sure she respects the black man's struggle, respects that the black man is considered a public enemy number one here in America, if you don't look at her in a whole before you commit and marry, the reality is that is 100% on you. And I know we can say people are great actors, blah, 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 but still, there were signs because in hindsight, after bad marriages, bad breakups, most of us like, dang, I overlooked 1, 2, 3, 4. You could start naming it, talk with your old friends that you kind of cut off for her or him, and they can just list out all the issues. So if you got a woman at your house or vice versa, you got a man at your house who ain't respecting you, you allowed them to treat you that way.
yeah,
So we got a comment that said, is it black men versus black women, or is it behavioral issues of each sex? I think
It's
right now
behavior.
it is black men versus black women right now. That's why you got so many failed relationships, single parent households.
I personally think that it's behavioral issues.
Okay, can it be both?
It can be both. It can be both,
Do you
but
think
it's
black
more
men are
so.
fighting black women in their households for leadership? Who's
You
going to
said what?
lead? I said, do you think that black men are fighting black women in their households about who's going to lead? Because
Not. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
let's ask the men after you respond. Let's ask the
okay,
men.
are black women fighting men? That was your question.
Right.
In
In
the
the
household.
household for leadership, right? For
No,
dominance. Who's gonna lead this train to where it
well,
needs to go?
again, I think that depends on who you're dealing with. You understand? Like, and then it goes back to people having issues. Me personally, I'm
Mm.
not I'm not fighting my partner on who's gonna lead the house. You
So all right, so what that brings to mind is right. I've heard a lot of men say this. I'm
understand?
curious to know how black women miss that messaging so much. Like it's difficult for black men to deal with some black women because there's always this battle that's going on for who's gonna lead in the household. That's not something you've heard before?
I'm gonna be honest. I've never really. I can't say I've heard of that before. But
Okay.
then again, I also grew up in a household where my parents kind of worked together.
Right.
So sometimes when you grow up in a particular way, you kind of carry that on into your relationship. I saw my
Right.
mother work next to my dad, and she paid half the bills and he paid the rent. So then me, I, that's what I do.
Sure.
That's what I
But
saw at
keep
home.
in mind, you grew up in a different culture, right?
And I
But
also
we're talking about the
right.
elements of black culture with
We're,
or black American culture, which is a lot different than that, right?
right. I'm gonna yes. It is a lot different when you hear men complaining about those things, because me personally, I didn't grow up in that. So I only know like a woman working next to her man, a woman coming home. She works, she cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the household. The man comes home, honey, are you hungry? Here's your plate. That's what I saw. And so that's what I exhibit. So
Right.
some things are it's
Trust me, there's
I'm
a
not gonna
lot of
say
women that's probably saying, I don't want no parts of that right there. That's not our culture.
Let's
okay.
jump in the
So,
comments real
yes,
quick.
but then I'm gonna be honest, like for women that do think in that, like in what you're saying, to me, it moves mountains for me, and I'm
Mm.
happy. You
There you
understand what I'm
go.
saying? I've learned that before I can't say that I was the best person before, but I can definitely say that is my what I do here is very much appreciated.
What you think about the comment?
See what she said? A black woman will allow her man to lead if he can be trusted. Can't be the blind leading the blind. I want to speak on that
Some of
real
these women
quick.
come in relationships with trust issues. So how you expect to be trusted by somebody who has trust issues already? Go ahead, Gio.
Um, if you already open your legs for that man, you already trust him, right? So if
Mm,
you're giving the most precious part of your body to that man, right?
Mhm.
You
mm.
give him your soul. You giving him the vagina, right?
But won't give them the
How
keys
you
to the
gonna give
car.
him your body and
Mm.
then say, "Well, I'm not gonna trust you with
Good
leading a
point.
relationship"? That don't make
Good
no
point.
sense.
Good
Are
point.
you stupid? Are you dumb? Not you. What's her name? Alaska.
Sheikah,
I
I
didn't
think it
see her
is.
name.
Sheikah.
Probably said
Tashika. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, not her personally. We know. Not her
Yeah.
personally.
But come on, man. I'm gonna be honest. Me, I look at a lot of black women as dumb.
oh
Okay.
You know, it's
Speak
no.
not.
on
No,
that.
no, no, no,
Right
no,
to
no, no,
that.
no. This is not to offend nobody. Um, Look, in the Latino community, the Latino man runs his household. In the
Mhm.
Asian community, the Asian man runs his household. In the white community, the white man runs his household. Whatever goes on in that household, nobody knows. But when they outside, they move like a unit. The black
Mhm.
woman is the only one going on Jerry Springer, divorce court, you know, Wendy Williams trying to downgrade her man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, ladies, look at yourself in the mirror, man. Look at yourself in the mirror. You know, it don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna have sex, lay down, open your legs for a guy, but then say, "Oh, I'm not." Think about that. You know?
And yo, I want to point this out too, right? Because I grew up in Brooklyn around a lot of Jamaicans, West Indians, Trinidadians. This is not West Indian culture either. Like they
Yeah.
come from a more traditional structure where, you know, the father and the mother together, they raise the kids together. This is like African American culture. That what you just described and the things that we constantly talking about, that's unique to our culture, not necessarily other black cultures that of people that are here right now. Like Carla was saying, that's not her culture.
It's not, man. It's not. It's not natural. We got to follow the Holy Trinity: the man, the woman, and the child. All right. Without that, you have nothing.
Mm.
And this is why there's so much violence, so much gangs, crime, high crimes in the community because these women, they have this attitude, well, if you're not gonna kiss my ass and you're not gonna buy me this, you're not gonna do that for me, I'm gonna raise my child on my own. A woman cannot raise a boy, not all, some can, you know what I'm saying? But the majority of these women out here, they're raising these demons, you know what I'm saying? And this child grows up to be 16, 17, she calls the dad, come pick up your child. No, I wanted him when when he was 1 day old in the hospital. You didn't want to let me have him. So now you want me to raise a grown man, you know what I mean? You want me to die or something, you know? So women gotta look at themselves in the mirror, you know what I'm saying?
So let
Take
me
that
tell
silly ass
y'all
wig off your head. Take that wig off your head. Um real men, we like natural women. You know what I'm saying?
why.
Like my wife, she came to me with wigs and weaves. I was like, hell no. You could walk across the street. We meet at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yo, but why does it why are you concerned with me having weave? I paid for it. No, that's not your hair. You know what I'm saying? What I look like walking down the street with you, I see a girl with her real hair is longer than your fake hair. You know what I'm saying? So
So
if women say we gotta respect them, no, you gotta earn our respect. Take that wig off your head. Uh, take the makeup off your face. We tired of that too much. Take the fake eyelashes off. Then we could talk. You know what I'm saying?
what's your thoughts on the comment that was made? Us as black men have to make better choices than women, better choices for ourselves.
Yo, okay, my honey right here. On paper, she makes more money than me,
Right.
but I'm still the ruler of this castle. What I say goes, you know. When I met her, her mindset was completely different. I told her straight up, you got to delete all those guys off Facebook. If you want to be with me, let me see those messages. Oh, you're being insecure. No, I want to make sure that before I get involved with you, that you're worthy of being with me. You know,
Mm.
and men just have to put their feet on their neck. Not to say it be abusive but
Just assert
it,
themselves. Men, I think it's
yeah,
important for a man to assert himself.
you
Right.
can't play with women. I don't play with women. I don't joke with women. I don't laugh with women. You know, they think I'm crazy, but hey, you
Well,
know,
okay,
I'm
let me just cut him off real quick. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, and this doesn't apply to every woman. You know, there are great
no,
women
not
out there, and there are great successful women that are making things happen, and there are successful women that have great men out there as well that are married and have a
Is
yeah,
that is that the
family.
majority?
Right?
yeah,
They're not,
No, I'm
exactly.
asking. I'm
And they
asking. Is that the majority?
no,
probably not.
No. Go
Probably
ahead.
not.
Go
But
ahead.
there are. What I'm saying is that they exist. They do exist.
Sure.
They
Sure.
do exist, right?
Sure. But
Um,
they're in such the minority that they don't really represent what we experience as men on a regular basis. What we experience is what's in the majority, which are the mentalities and mindsets that are really anti-relationship, anti-black man, and anti-family.
okay, well then there's more women on earth than there are men, right?
Of course.
And to every man, there's like probably 20 women, right? So
That's
you
tough,
have
that's
the
tough.
time, take your time to pick out the right woman that's for you. I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest. Like when I first met my husband, like he wasn't going for nothing. Let the next man meet his kids on the first floor, because I'm a new is a new authority in the house. You understand? And sometimes I'm gonna be honest, I like that. I was attracted to that. I was attracted to that, but every woman is different. If it because there's about 20 women to women, then take your time to pick out the right woman for you. And if there are qualities about a woman that you like, then you go for that. You like a woman that's more traditional and those things are important, then you lead her. You know, you can't just be a teacher trying to teach a woman. You got to lead her. You got to show her the way you want to be treated.
Mm.
You understand? And so, and that's how I look at that. But there are good women out there. There are good women. There are good Black women out there, and there are
Yeah.
women out there that probably have been through situations, and y'all probably never gave these women
Gave them a chance to do what?
a chance to be good to you.
No, women
You heard what he said about child support court and having to go to court, right, for his kids. You heard about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of men getting enslaved by women that they gave a chance to, and they wound up getting bit in the end.
Okay,
Yep.
and let me just tell you, women go through that too.
Sure.
There's women out there that mothers, there's single mothers out there being taken advantage of. There's
Yeah.
women out there being taken advantage of just the same. Just the same.
So
And there's women out there taking care of men.
that's a great point, and I agree with you
You
100%.
understand? So
So
it's not, and there's women out there doing a lot of great things. It's not just
agreed.
women mistreating men. There are men out there that are not taking care of their kids.
Right.
There are men out there that are not providing for their kids.
Right.
There are
But what
men
I
out
want to say is this, right? I heard that story for the last 40 years of my life about how
right,
Black men ain't shit, right?
right,
That's what you hear all the time. We don't take care of our
right.
kids. But then when I look around, all the Black men that I know is great fathers. They all active, they all present, they all do what they gotta do. And they dealing with women that are problematic. So this is what I'm saying, and I'm gonna pass it to James because he's been
Mhm.
silent for a while, right? This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Uh, one of the comments was like, is it Black men versus Black women? And my answer to that is it's not a us versus y'all thing. What it is at some point we have to stop talking about the good women, the ones that are doing all of these things, and we have to spend some time and talk to the ones who are not doing the right things if we ever hope to change that, because those women are supposed to be for some Black men that's out here that want Black women. We just can't find those. So go ahead, James.
I will tell you this: I'm in this Black group on Facebook, and I had a comment about financial stability, and it's still one of the top leading causes of relationships being ruined and marriages ending. And what I found in that group discussion, I got over like 260 total comments, is that you'll have the ones who are aggressive and loud. They're very loud and assertive and put themselves out there. They'll comment under multiple people's comments. I notice a lot of good women get attacked as they get what's the new terminology? Pick me's. We've heard that now, but technically women aren't getting down on one knee buying men $2,000-3,000 engagement rings talking about will you marry me. So essentially men do have to pick women. So the simple fact that good women being attacked for that is an issue. And so you have those good women who do their job, but they stay out the way and they stay quiet because they know themselves that if they speak up, they're going to get ridiculed, bashed, attacked, and they lose friends. So they stay out the way. Also, a lot of good quality women, based on that discussion, I inboxed about 3 or 4 women on there, and most of them you can't even find in public. I said, do I need to start wearing suits to Sam's? That was my joke, because one girl mentioned she loves going to Sam's Club, but she is rarely out in public. She doesn't go to bars and clubs. She doesn't drink. She has a couple social events every now and then, but she's handling her business. But here she
But
is.
you know what? I blame Carla for that. I blame women like you for that because y'all not speaking up. You got to understand the voices that we hearing are the ones that are not the great ones, right?
And they're a
We don't
minority.
hear the ones that are the good ones. Like my man Gio right there, he got his wife. We not necessarily hearing his wife telling her story and her perspective. We hear the women that's out there that's like, I ain't settling. I don't want no broke nigga. I don't want this. I don't want that. So their voices are so loud that it's drowning out all those good women that you're talking about.
Well, let me tell you, a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of people have issues.
Sure.
I mean, they have, if you sit down and think about how you grew up to who you are today, you're going to find that you have
Right.
issues, even to how you respond to your partner,
Yeah.
right? A lot of us have communication issues. All of us have issues, men and women, right?
Sure.
I just think that it all boils down to people wanting to work, and I'm always going to say this, it all boils down to people wanting to work on themselves.
Okay.
That
So,
for me, that's where it ultimately is, because if you're not better, then how you going to be better? How you going to make anything around you better? You understand? Women, of course, a lot of women have issues, but it's important for women to work on themselves. It's important for, men to work on themselves, because then we'll learn how to respond to one another when we're in a relationship. And
so
I
let me
think
give you one more of the characteristics of a superiority complex, which is why I use that specific terminology. Unwilling to listen to others. You think there's a lot of women or men? We're talking about women particularly for this conversation, but do you think that there's an unwillingness to listen to what a James has to say or a Geo has to say or any
there
man
is
has to say?
there is an unwillingness, because women they get offended by many things, myself included. You understand? It's hard for people to hear the truth, let alone for women to hear the truth, because we all have a story. You
Right.
understand? And so, us women, we can be combative. You
Oh, we
know,
know.
we can be. We can be very combative. We can get to a place where we can become controlling. We can become
We
our
know.
head. We do get to those spaces, but again, like, I can't really speak for all women, but I can say for myself that I've worked on myself. I have children, I have a family, and I want to be an example for my kids. You understand? So to me, it's important for me to work on myself, and just enhance the quality of my life and my family, and
Women, let's drink.
to my kids, and a wife to my husband, and be a better mother to my kids. And so I would just say, like, for women that are out there and being victims, to situations, just work on yourself. And if you're not in a good situation, find a better situation. We don't need to be with someone because they have money. That's not a valid reason to be with someone. But again, there's women out there that to them that makes sense. So I can't really talk to what makes sense to other people. You understand?
Sure.
But I don't think that that's the right way to deal with a man, because you could be with a man that has a lot of money and he can be very abusive, and that man has issues. I mean, it's just there's just a variable of things that's going on in the world of women, that we can't attack it all at one in one sitting. But we just got to work on ourselves. Ultimately,
Sure.
I think that's what it boils down to, so we can be better, not just for ourselves, but for the people that we want to be in a relationship with.
So part of this discussion is about helping along in that process, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes, in order to be able to sit back and reflect on who you are, what you're good at, not good at, it takes somebody showing you that mirror, telling you that ugly truth. It might not be easy to deal with, but if you take it, you sit with it, and you think through it, you might find that there's some things that you can take from it that will help you be better. That's why we have the discussion. I'm gonna defer to James, Gio. Y'all got anything y'all want to add in?
I'd have to say, with the time that it takes, to adjust and work on yourself, what's really boiling down is within the last few years, we've seen several men and groups of men coming up with their own shows and podcasts. And what it basically boils down to is that men have gotten to the point where we've heard the laundry list of complaints, the laundry list of offenses that Black men have created in the community. And we've been trying our best to put effort into making those changes. And we're at the point now where this is becoming a one-sided, where the superiority complex come from. It's been pushed for so long. You didn't have a lot of men on social media pushing back against the rhetoric of us just being trash, worthless. And my new term is scrap daddies. That's just a push. That's all we are. And now that we're speaking on it, we realize is that the superiority complex is that we've been getting beaten down for so long. Now we're trying to talk. You ain't good enough. You still down here. You still in the negatives like somebody with overcharged credit card. So trying to bridge that gap now is the issue. And a lot of men are just simply saying, I'll stay out the way, grind out, build my career, build my finances, get my money up, and then I'll get the pick of the litter, because building up now, I'm not a partner. We're not balanced. We're not a team. As you said, you'll lay down with me, give me your body, but you won't trust, respect me, let me run and rule the household. So why waste time in your early 20s, early 30s? Build up to you making good money, and then all the women will fall in line, as a woman said in the clip, who said, if a man makes good enough money, I'll check myself. So if that's what we're hearing, then I'm just going to stay out the way.
Gio, respond to that. What you think? Anything you want to add on to that?
I totally agree with what the brother's saying. Again, work on yourself, work on your health, work on your mind, read those books, drink a lot of water. Make sure that you prioritize and follow your dreams before you invest in a woman. Once you have yourself together, you know, you could pick, you know, whichever woman you want. Don't invest in a woman until you invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think you save yourself a lot of headaches, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress. Also, keep in mind that stress is a form of cancer that can manifest itself into the physical form. That's why you see a lot of guys out here losing their mind. You know, the last chick I was with got me a little bored. You know, that's why I got a hat on. You know what I'm saying? My hairline receding. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I thought that.
Baby. Come on home.
I thought that being with her, you know, like, yo, she was toxic, man. You know, fights. Oh, you will never find a woman like me. You out here fucking these dirty bitches. You know, come to find out, she was the one doing all the cheating. You know what I'm saying? So when I found out she was the one doing all the cheating, you know, me not being assertive, you know, letting my emotions take over me, which I'm not proud of, you know. I did strike her, you know what I'm saying? And cops got involved. And that took a turn for the worse. You know, I ended up losing my place. I ended up losing my job. I ended up losing my vehicle. So that was a learning experience for me, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I take full accountability because I didn't think, you know, with my head, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, we as men, we have to work on ourselves so that way we can make wiser and better choices than women, you know what I'm saying? Just because she got a nice body, you know, she got nice boobs, a fat ass, don't mean that she's gonna take us to the promised land, you know what I'm saying? The job of a woman is to serve the man. I don't care what you women out there feel. The job of the woman is to serve the man. You got to make sure you cook your man nutritious meals. Why? Because the food that you feed him is going to feed his mind so that when he's out there in the world, he could push mountains to you and make wiser decisions. You got to wash his clothes. You got to dry his clothes, fold his clothes. When he comes home, you got to make sure the house is clean. Okay, I get it. A lot of women are career women at work now, but you still have a freaking responsibility. You know what I'm saying? When you at work, you do what your boss tell you to do. If you're in college, your professor writes you an email, yo, I need this 35-page essay done by 6 a.m., you're going to do it. So why is it that when your man gives you orders, you want to be insubordinate? Oh, I'm not your slave. Oh, who you think you're talking to? That's not how it works. Your man is supposed to be above the president of the United States of America. He's above your father, your brother, your ex-boyfriend, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So why are you taking orders from every other man, but when your man tell you something that's beneficial for y'all, you want to catch your attitude?
It's
We gotta fix that up.
I'm gonna keep beating that drum because that might sound extreme in our culture, but in other cultures,
It's not.
normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Right. And until you exposed to it regularly, you don't even know that. Like, I think your wife said submissive. I think she used that word. That's like cursing at a black woman. You tell her to be submissive, she looking at you like, what?
I told her straight up, you either listen to me or you go out there and you go be with all these men, and all these men are gonna use you.
No,
They're gonna run a train on you, and you're gonna have mileage on your body. And then when you want to settle down, no man is gonna want to be with
no,
you.
you didn't, man.
Told her straight up.
No, you didn't.
God,
No,
really?
you didn't. Are you kidding me?
She's a
I
great
told her straight
woman.
up. I told her straight up.
She's a good
Listen,
woman.
it's a time. I told you that. It's a time. All right, hi y'all. I'm back again. It took time for me to understand what he was talking, and I'm
What was
listening
the
to him because
biggest
I'm
challenge?
back and forth, and I'm listening to him, and I know some people might say like he sounds controlling and all, and sometimes we go through our little spats, and I always gotta come back with my comeback, but when we actually sit down and talk, he's not coming from a place of negativity. He's coming from a place of love. And
Love.
so when we
Right.
come down, I was like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You don't have to, when you're talking to me, you don't have to talk to me with so much conviction because it sounds like it's coming from hate. And naturally, I'm going to feel attacked. So naturally, I'm going to come back with my jabs too. You're throwing jabs, I'm going to throw jabs. But when we kind of separate and come back, it's like, okay, well, this is the message that you're trying to present. And this is the message I'm trying to present. I want you to hear what I'm saying. You hear what I'm saying. And then, because before the times now is not like how it was today. Like when he says stuff like, "Oh, you got this role as a woman, and if you have your boss, you got to do what your boss is." I'm like, well, but I go to work just like you. I'm tired just like you. So sometimes even though it's a lot, sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Like when I was in school, I felt overwhelmed yet, and I still have the old responsibilities to take care of. I'm like, you got to understand, I'm tired just like you. Can we at least take a day? So I just think
We're the protectors.
I think it's all in
Sure.
compromising and just communicating with one another. As long as we communicate with each other, our roles and responsibilities, we can achieve greatness. And it's not like we perfect, okay?
Yeah.
We still have our problems just like anybody else, and we're just taking it day by day.
So let me ask the ladies this, right? I heard this before. If a woman didn't grow up with a father in the household, then she doesn't view correction from a man as being a form of love. She views it as an attack. What do y'all think about that? Is that something
I do.
that you
I did agree.
Yeah, I agree.
That
wow.
is exactly how I used to feel. But it's all in how you say. Like, for instance, with my ex, he was probably saying the same thing that my honey is saying now, but it's all in how he was saying. It was like, oh, you don't wear this, or don't do this, or don't go out, or you got a man, you got to stay in the house. Yeah, when I meet my honey, he'll teach me, like, in other cultures, they do this. And this
Yeah,
is the reason why you shouldn't do this. And when you become a man's woman, it's all in how you teach. And I feel like, and I'm not trying to put blame on the men, like, oh, it's all your fault. What I'm saying is, if we both come to an understanding and learn each other better and kind of teach each other better, um, there could be power couples happening. That's what I believe.
Hmm.
I
Again,
agree
we
too.
still have our own problems. I'm not sitting here saying that we're perfect, but I'm just saying it's just all in how everybody communicates. That's what I really believe is communication.
Sure. Carla, what's your thoughts on that statement about, seeing correction from a man as a form of him showing love or as an attack?
I think that
Oh,
it, you know, I guess it's because we're talking about cultures. I think a lot of maybe women in Black cultures, like they experience a lot of single mothers at home, and so I think it's all based on what they're seeing. Is
Sure.
it like an attack? I personally don't think that is an attack. I myself was, taught certain things. I myself was led a particular way here, in my new situation, and I think that a woman will have to be open for a man to teach her his way of doing things and his way of leading things in their home. But yeah,
Sure.
I think it's a cultural. I'm gonna just be honest. I think it's a cultural thing. Like every culture is different, and so there are men in our culture also that there's a lot of machismo going on. So a lot of
Sure.
women in our cultures they can't take that. You understand? And then there's American women that like that. They love a Afro Latino man. They love a Hispanic man. You understand? So I think it's just a lot of different things going on out here. But me personally, I don't think that is an attack. I think that it's just you just gotta respect the head of the household. You have to learn how to elevate your man, build your man. It's like you got a
Like,
car,
no,
you got to oil your car, you got to maintain your car, and for that man, for that car to run properly, you got to do those things. And for a man to move mountains, you got to take care of that man. So,
sure, sure.
ladies got to get on board with some of these things.
So that's why we keep beating the drum about Black culture matters, right? Because all of the elements that you're talking about that are missing right now, I think are leading to what we keep seeing right now. You know, so many men and women being apart, so many families being broken, so many kids coming up in households led by women. And I think it's important that we talk about it now. You said on a couple of occasions you have to work on yourself. I didn't hear anybody mention therapy at all, right? If we're gonna work on ourselves and we suffering from superiority complexes, black men dealing with mental health issues, how do we work on ourselves? If we're the ones that got us into the position that we in, how do we get ourselves out of it without some sort of
I
assistance?
mean, like, therapy is a great thing. I've done therapy before, and I think it's very helpful. Um, Ultimately, if anybody wants something good for their life, they have to want it. It's like, I can't make you do something that you don't want to do. You have
Right.
to want certain things for yourself. So even if you have like all of these available resources out there and you have all of these books out there, to better yourself, ultimately it has to come from you. You understand?
Sure.
How can you better yourself? You have to want more for yourself,
Sure.
because you can have a partner, you can have a husband, you can have a significant other, you can have a boyfriend, you can have a mother, and they can want the best for you. But if you don't want it for yourself, then you're just not going to have it.
Right. Right.
So
Agreed.
that's
I
it.
agree. I
Well,
agree.
that comes into play with the lack of men being pushed out of the homes. We don't have to go down the history, but we know the American history from about the 1940s and 50s until modern day, and that is what it boils down to. Us who was raised with fathers or had an active co-parenting father know that a lot of times the men's role is to push and put people in situations that they may not want or find desirable, but there is an end goal and there is an ultimate plan that the father has in place for the children, in place for the wife, in place for the family structure. And so, since that's been absent, you run into this issue where I can show a woman a full spreadsheet on budgeting. I can show her a full spreadsheet on career building, family structure, future child bearing planning, everything, career paths, building whatever type of legacy she may find desirable, but is seen as controlling, manipulative, toxic, and what's a misogynist because I'm the man, I have a plan written out. We should follow it. Here's my data and research behind it. But those four words I just mentioned, you're going to challenge it, come against it, and possibly we don't get anywhere.
And let me
So,
ask
Paula, give me your perspective, right? Where are the men suffering from a superiority complex? Where are we overinflating ourselves? Where are we going wrong?
you're at where are men going wrong?
Right. You
Man, I could
give the
tell you
female perspective.
from a female's perspective. I mean, also when men acquire more money, when they just the same like women, when they acquire more money, they accomplish more. Sometimes men forget who was by their side when they didn't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When you get on, he leave your ass for a white girl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that is crazy, but it's like it's you guys forget who was there the entire time.
Mm,
You always remember who's riding next to you when you had nothing. I mean, you can have everything in the world, right? But guess what? You have all the money in the world. You have the luxury life. But now, guess what? Now you got to be concerned about who's really with you for who you are. You understand? So I think that men also have issues with being accountable, with treating their women with kindness and consideration, simple kindness and consideration. Doesn't cost a dollar. And just really having real conversation. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you asked your lady, well, what are your goals and what are your dreams? What would you like to accomplish in life? What is it that you want?
right.
I mean, I mean, you guys hit a lot of great points about women, but I don't think that a lot of men take the time to ask a woman, what exactly does she want? I've experienced that here in my marriage. My husband has asked me, what is it that you want? And I'll give him a list of things I want. It might take 10 years, but let me tell you, he goes after it. And I'll be there pushing him. Like, you the best, baby. You go get that. Go get that money. Let's go live this life. And all the time. So I don't think that a lot of men take the time to ask women what exactly it is that they want, what goals do they have, how to have those type of discussions, those type of conversations, because in those conversations you'll find out that there are women out there that have superiority complexes, and you might not want to deal with her at that point. You understand what I'm saying? And if her goals align with what you have going on, then you wouldn't be dealing with that going forward. You understand what I'm saying? So
A lot of y'all is chameleons, though. Y'all pretend well until y'all
yeah,
get what y'all
yes,
want, and then
you're right. You're right. Us human beings do pretend well, men and women alike.
you're right. You're right. Go
We
on,
are.
go on.
I mean, because we've met. I've met men that would come up to me in the past, and they promising me the moon and the stars, and then five months down the road, I haven't even seen them work towards that. You understand what I'm saying? So I mean, I think it just men and women are alike. When we come into a situation, we put on our best act. Or not even our best act, or not even our best performance. It's just we're not coming into a situation with authenticity. Asking questions. Hey, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What have you done? What are things that bothered you? Like, just kind of asking those questions just to gauge. Hey, is this a person that I might even want to be dealing with 5 years down the line? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's important to have those conversations.
Communication. That's what it all goes back to.
Honestly, like, you know women, they love just simple kindness. Women are, you guys say women are complicated. We're not complicated. We're actually we're not. I mean, listen, we're not complicated. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say we're not complicated. I'm sorry, let me take that back. We are
We
not.
like consistency. That's all.
Right.
Consistency.
We
We
are
like
not all
consistency.
complicated. Right. We're
And
not
they didn't
all
get the
complicated.
formula yet.
Not all complicated. But we do like consistency. We do like consistency. So, if you falling off in certain areas, get back to that space again. You know how to court a
Consistency.
woman. If you know how to court a woman, then you know how you have to spice it back up. We have things that we like, just like you men have things that y'all like, but you got to inspire a woman just like what you want a woman to inspire you as well. I think things like that goes both ways. I mean, I wouldn't say be with someone that makes you feel like you're a man at home, or be with the person that isn't treating you right, or isn't considering your thoughts or your opinion, or isn't considering what you got to say, because then you're not going to feel home in your own home. You understand? So I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying find someone that exemplifies and has the qualities that you're looking for.
Got it. James, jump in there. You sound like you was about to say something.
Me and you've had this discussion off camera, and the issue with this whole concept of consistency and being pushed a lot, I hear it from women a lot being pushed on men. That goes back to our mental health discussion with the Superman image of men, and it's not realistic, because if we look at people's career paths, we look at people's we're the most consistent people in your life, right? Usually your mother and your father and your siblings. Have you guys had a consistent quality relationship? Have you been on consistent, always quality speaking terms, relationship, organization? None of that happens. And so you don't have consistency at work. You don't have consistency in your career paths. You don't have consistency anywhere else. But the one relationship with a person that you potentially just may have met a year or two ago, never knew they exist on this earth, that man is expected to have a level of consistency that you don't have a living track record of existence. So I'm going to fail. I'm going to be stressed. And that goes back to Gio's point of men dealing with the world outside. You want me to be consistent when I may have gotten to a threat and possibly have somebody challenge my existence or my freedom or my life. And I don't want to bring that drama to the house.
we know you got road rage.
Yeah, I've had some issues, but I'm a
Mhm.
6'4" black man, so I have to move and groove a certain type of way in America. I'm not free to walk, talk, do what I
You
want.
have to understand too, like men aren't the only ones out there going through
I'm not
issues.
saying that.
When
I'm
I
not saying
understand that black men are going through issues out there, but women are going through it too. I mean, women are out here working. You know, women are out here working. They're taking care of their homes. There are women, you know, providing for their kids. You know, picking up the slack, putting up furniture on the wall. We're doing it too. You
So I
understand?
always wanted to do this, right?
Yes.
I always wanted to do this because I see this on other shows all the time, right? The number one leader in suicides in this country is men.
Mhm.
Men, elder men. Yep.
The number one leaders in homelessness in this country is men. The number one leaders in deaths at work-related deaths are men because men tend to have the more dangerous jobs. Leading in mental health issues are men. So all of these areas, all we're saying as men is that it's not easy being a man. And
Okay.
some of the expectations that are placed on us, I think that's where James was going. Some of the expectations that are placed on us and that are used against us are not reasonable. I
Mhm.
think we have ways that we can develop and get better and be better for our partners. But
Mhm.
some of it is unreasonable when you consider all of the other things that we might be dealing with and trying to go through.
So Shavar, help women out here understand what is considered unreasonable because we might not know.
Right. Okay. So we started this discussion off talking about women that make more money than a man not being able to respect a man because he doesn't make more money, right? A woman can make $70,000, for example, and a man can make $50,000.
Mhm.
The belief that a man can't lead because he only makes $50,000 is unrealistic,
Okay,
right?
that's fair.
Because if I'm more efficient with my money, if I limit my debt, if I live below my means, and I manage my money properly, I can make $50,000 and still walk away with more money than someone who makes $70,000.
Right,
So
right.
the expectation is that we should be leaders, but it's not based on anything that's tangible. It's based on an idea of a leader. And matter of fact,
Mhm.
James was on an Instagram live with me the other day, and we were talking to two women, and they kept talking about we need a man that can lead, that can lead, that can lead. And I kept asking them, like, what is your definition of leadership? And they were telling me, oh, a man that could sit down and talk to me and know when to ask me things and know when to do this. I said, it sounds like you want a wife, not a husband, because that's not who we are. So leadership has nothing to do with that. But if you expect my leadership to look like that, of course you're going to think I'm a poor leader. But like
Mhm.
James said, my leadership is if I'm the head of the household, I manage the finances, I'm driving us towards our goals financially.
Mhm.
I'm gonna lay out the plan. I'm gonna make sure you understand the plan. I'm gonna allow you to participate in the plan, and then we're gonna keep moving. You might not view that as leadership. You might say this guy is controlling. This guy is this. So it's like it's unreasonable of women to expect that we are going to the things that they place on us, we're always going to be able to number one understand and number two be able to fulfill because some things are just not who we are.
Okay, that's fair, and I completely understand. You guys make valid points there. Just because a woman makes more money than a man doesn't mean that he cannot be a great leader. And those are two different topics. That's just a gold digger.
That's exactly what that
Okay,
is. That's
let me just
exactly
help
a
you
gold digger.
understand what that is.
And
That's
there's a lot of gold diggers in the
I was
black
about to say the
community.
same thing.
okay.
Jesus
That's just
Christ.
a gold digger. And so you know, it when you're picking again, there's maybe 20 women to each man. When you're picking your woman, you have to make sure that whoever you are aligns with what she is and what she has to bring to the table, or what you're looking for. To me, that sounds like a gold digger.
So
Hold on. Global metrics aren't realistic measurement. You said there's so many billions of people in the world. Most people do not have the financial wherewithal and stability and built up to date largely. People can barely date living 2 states apart, like you in Ohio and Indiana or Kentucky or going to Pennsylvania. So worrying about a demographic outside of the United States of America doesn't matter. Wherever somebody's based in Canada, listening to this, Mexico, whatever, that doesn't matter how many other women are in the world, because most people never get to meet even, I would even say 2% of the population of the entire world. So you're going to date in the region you are at. Granted, now social media allows us to meet and date people in different cities and states outside of our normal circle of bars, clubs, restaurants, grocery stores, but those metrics are irrelevant. They really are to me irrelevant. I hear that talk about all the time. Why you worry about black women? It's so many other. Who can afford that? Who can afford to date internationally? I want to know. Buying a woman a flight from California to Ohio would be expensive, or Florida to Washington State, not Washington D.C. So that really doesn't matter. You're going to date within your probably 20-mile radius and possibly online. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
So I posted a question: How do we foster better relationships between black men and women? So we talked about a lot of things that as men we see from women. Carla, and with the help of your wife Gio, have pointed out some things that y'all see that are deficient with us. What can we walk away from this discussion having learned from each other that might help us, in our personal lives going forward?
Have better communication. Communication is key. When people in relationships communicate, they're usually pointing the finger. I've learned that it's better to say, I feel like I am not being treated the way, and this is how I feel. It's not you make me feel, and this is what you did to make me feel, because then it creates just having a better communication with your partner. Um, again, simple kindness, simple consideration, and have enough love to be able to um, just work with your partner. Um, listen a lot is important to listen when you do have conversations, because we're all leading busy lives, so we don't have the time to sit down and have long extended conversations. But when you do have conversations, listen to your partner. I think, and that goes both ways. And love your man, take care of your man, take care of your household, take care of your children. Before you walk out of a relationship, think about that. Because at the end of the day, whether we adults know it or not, children do suffer. And I've experienced that also, and that's heartbreaking to me. Definitely think twice about everything that you're doing. If you're not going through like real horrible situations at home, I'm sure some things can be fixed. And just think about your children. Just think about everything before you decide to walk out of a relationship over misunderstanding, because some things can be fixed.
Oops.
So yeah.
Silence in the crowd.
Oh, I thought I saw an extra comment. You go ahead, Gio. Go ahead, and I'll finish.
How you foster a good relationship between a black man and a black woman?
Give us some advice. Y'all are successful married
Okay,
black couple.
you got to talk to women like they're babies. Okay, honey, my love, sweetheart. You gotta
I don't
make
like
them
how
feel.
you're
You gotta
doing this
make
right
you
now.
gotta make them feel important, right?
I'm not
But
like
also, you have to teach the woman,
I'm not
right?
feeling this.
Right.
You have to teach her. Listen, when we get approached by other men and he talks to you, you tell him, my husband's right here, you speak to me, right? Because a lot of men, the way that they try to like shit on black men is by addressing the woman first. So I teach my woman to like, listen, I don't care if he's the super, I don't care if he's the landlord, I don't care who he is. Talk to me. I'm the boss, right? Also, watch how you dress. When you're around other men,
That's a good one.
don't bend your ass. So men, watch the eyes or whatever, because guys get comfortable. They get mixed signals. you know, and then I don't want to fight with no other man. I want to, if I go out, I want to come back in one piece. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be no superhero. If that woman loves me, she's put me in any position or any situation that where I have to prove myself to another man or have a confrontation with another man. Respect your man. You know, if you love me, you don't have no problem with respecting me, right? You know, like my woman, right? When she look at Chris Brown and like Drake, I look at her reaction. Oh, you like that, huh?
He's dragging it. He's
Oh,
dragging
you
it.
like that, huh? Right? And you know, okay, so you want to speak? Speak.
Yes, Amina, go ahead, speak.
Go ahead.
We want to hear what you have to
You
say.
made me lose my train of thought. I'll come back. Come back to me because I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I treat her like a princess. Always respect her.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Communication, right, Carla? I feel like
Yeah,
the biggest thing to me in relationship is communication. And this is not to come at you, but I just feel like sometimes men always have to be so machismo that when you guys are hurting, y'all don't talk to your women and y'all expect your women to know. And so when we don't know, like let's say we'll ask you, hey, is everything okay? Hey, is everything okay? Y'all keep everything so bottled up inside and
yeah, we
y'all don't
good.
tell us what's going on. And then we won't know what's going on. And then whatever is going on with you, you'll take everything out on us. And this is why I say communication is the biggest thing because women, we won't have, at least for me, I don't have a problem with communicating. And I feel like if men sometimes would express their feelings, I know that might be too soft for y'all or whatever. But if sometimes this is your partner, right? This is your best friend. This is the person you go home and trust everything in. If you communicate better with your partner, I think that you have successful relationships. And back to this gentleman, I forgot his name, about consistency. I wanted to mention before I go. Yes, consistency. I wasn't saying consistency like as if, oh, I'm in demand of it, whatever you buy me this, you buy me that. If you have a wife, or I don't know if you have a wife, you want her when she comes home from work or whatever, you want her to make sure she bathes the kids, do homework, help, feed you, attend to you, right? You want her to do all those things, right? So isn't that being consistent? You want her to consistently do that. So when I say that, it should be reciprocated. What you want from me, I want the same from you. So I don't mean it in like an aspect of something monetary or material. Just give me the same attention that you gave me before, and we shouldn't have any problems. That's all I meant to say.
Hold on. When I met her, she said, "Oh, I have I have a friend. He got a wife. Hold on. Chill. She said he got a wife. I was like, yeah. What type of dude who has a wife? How you cool with whatever? I told her straight up, you cut that dude off right now. Don't speak to him ever again, or I'm getting rid of you." And she got rid of him, and that's how she proved the love to me.
You ain't saying it like that.
You got to put women in their place.
You did not say that.
You have to put women in their place. Don't never be afraid to let them know. Like if you love me, prove it to me. She said, "Oh, you know how women do. Oh, you're being insecure. You know, if you assure yourself as a man, why would you be threatened by another man or whatever?" She cut him off. I haven't heard of that. I never even met him, but I was so appalled that she would tell me, "Oh yeah, I have a male friend around here."
All right, but we talking about positive relationships. Now we can let them go. We said our
Yo,
piece.
I'm gonna just say one thing. I like to do a little experiment when I'm in those situations. I always put them to the test. Like, yo, send your male friend who's just platonic. Send him a text message and let's see how you respond to this. Yo, exactly.
Every time.
That's how you find out real quick if they just platonic or not.
Yeah.
I would say I give my final thoughts. But on the consistency, no, I wouldn't expect her to come home and do it every single day because it's inhumane. I've dated highly educated women with high stress level jobs that are critical thinking. And when you have a job my job is physical and mental. I've dated and been in relationships with and also is married to a woman who has a job that's critical thinking. So she may come home with a scrambled brain. I got to handle business. So it ain't about that consistency because she could have had a bad week. End of the year quarters around October can get really rough. It just depends on a person's career field. So no, I don't expect that consistency because it just depends on how the day went. When I come home and when she comes home, how we operate and adjust, and that's an important part of submission. That's necessary because I may have to give 120%. I may have to come home, get her upstairs, get her in bathe, and let her stay in the bedroom for the rest of the day. I got to take care of the kids. I got to cook, clean, pick up her clothes. She might have left at the door because she just didn't care, and vice versa. I travel working the trades. I may come home and be like, look, I done came home stripped, almost naked in the mudroom, go upstairs, shower, and I'll pass out in the bed with the wet towel. You're going to give me a hard time, but I've been out of town for a week and a half.
Right. But you communicated. Y'all communicated that, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the point.
I might have beat you home, and you come home and see a big duffel bag in the living room, my boots, clothes, and I'm passed out in the bed naked. I ain't say nothing to you. I'm home and I'm dead. You might have been at the grocery store. You could have been coming back from the daycare with the kids. You should know. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, he's out. Leave him alone. But so for my point, for communication, for how to get relationships to be better for Black men, Black women, other races as well, is know what you're actually talking about. When you ask or have demands or requirements for a partner, requirements for yourself, actually be able to articulate yourself and know what you're saying versus a talking point you heard from somebody on social media, somebody who talked to your auntie, uncles, cousins, heard a conversation on the bus at work. Know what you're talking about, because a funny quote I always remember from the Boondocks when they had brought Martin Luther King back to life on that show was, he said, niggas love to talk and never explain. And I've been on dates and listened to people explain themselves. Like they say a ramble off, and I'm like, okay, as he said, talk like a baby. Okay, so what do you need me to do when it comes to that? Oh, okay, so if that mean I could do no. They can't articulate what they're asking for. And that does happen with men as well. You want men and women to take care of you and feel special. Do you know what that looks like? Have you had that experience with another woman? You know, we have our relationships, good and bad, that have failed. So what, as they say, eat the fish and spit out the bones. What was good about your ex? What was good about your old partners? What was good you've seen in friendships and relationships? So know what you're talking about. That's me. You want something from a partner, be able to articulate it and give examples and show me, teach me. Who's that? Who makes the song? Teach Me How to Love. Who is that? Music Soul Child.
Music Soul Child.
Everybody listen to that song and swipe the roles, male or female. How am I know how to love you if you don't show me what you like? I've dated women who hate flowers. I dated women who hate apology gifts. So if I don't know what you actually want in a relationship, it's gonna fail. So know what you actually want and be able to articulate it. That's my point.
Got it. So listen, I think one of the things that we all should come to realize is that all we have is one another.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We love each other enough to be honest with each other, to be forthright, using tact, right? Because I know women are big on how you say things, right? But if we love each other enough to be honest and straightforward with where we at, what we need, and what's going on, hopefully we can, use conversations like this to inspire people to have those uncomfortable talks and then figure out how to move forward. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap here. If anybody else got anything, if this is your first time checking us out, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, send us a message if you think there's anything we could do better, any topics you want to see us discuss. And anybody got anything else before we wrap?
Nah, this was really good. This is really good.
So we introducing the world to our newest co-host, Carlo over here. Thank you and his wife for coming and talking with us tonight.
Yo, I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform. These are very important issues. Blessings, you heard?
Appreciate you. All right, well, it was another good show, folks. We wrapping up.
All righty. Later.
Okay.